Hey guys, Matt here. Welcome to Learn to Discern. There's really no denying the fact that this is a tumultuous time in the history of our country. We have a big election coming up in November, and I think most people agree that there is a lot on the line. Right now, it can feel like this country is on the verge of potential economic collapse. What is going to happen if the wrong candidate gets into office? What about what's happening with everything in the world? Could we be on the verge of World War III? There's also a number of key moral issues that are at stake in this election. I think with all of these things floating around and with the uncertainty of how these elections are going to turn out, many people have been becoming more anxious and more worried. And while certainly we need to do our part as believers in praying and in voting for the most righteous candidates that are available to us, I want us to see today that we do not need to be worried or overly concerned about what is going to take place. We don't have to know the outcome. We can have peace regardless of how things turn out. And I want to do that by looking at a very short passage out of Psalm chapter 2. If we look at the psalm, it starts, the first three verses, they say, "Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us." So what we see is there is this worldwide rebellion that is taking place in the psalm, and it's against the Lord and against his anointed. People are raging against God. They want to overthrow him. They don't want him in control. The people are upset and they basically want to topple God over. Okay, this is a massive rebellion. This is all of the forces that earthly kingdoms can muster being thrown against the Lord. Some people right now, when they think about the upcoming election, they feel like it's a battle of good versus evil. And I understand that. I understand why people feel that way. But sometimes the sentiment becomes, if the wrong candidate wins, then it's going to be an increase in wickedness and people are going to plot against God. They're going to go against Christian values and Christian ideals. And certainly, we acknowledge that absolutely could happen. In Psalm 2, people are doing that actively. They are plotting against the Lord. Let's see how the Lord responds in verse 4. "He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill." God's response to all of the resources that the kingdoms of the earth could muster together, put together, all of their anger and vitriol, and they are coming to fight against him. How does he respond? He laughs. It's like a joke to him. Now, it's not just like a hearty, oh, chuckle, this is funny sort of laugh. He's holding them in derision. It's like, would you seriously try me? You have no shot. God's not concerned about the plots against him because he's totally sovereign. He's totally in control. In fact, in verse 6, he says, "As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill." God had decreed that something was going to take place, and it was going to take place. Whatever God ordains is going to come to pass. Ephesians 1 says that he works all things in conformity to the purpose of his will. Whatever God wills to happen, anything that is according to his plan and his purpose, it absolutely will come to pass. This is really important for us because we might be tempted to get anxious or worried. We might think if the wrong people get in, things are going to get a lot worse and things will get out of control. Well, it's important to note that things never get out of control, at least when it comes to God. God is always in control. Could things get worse for us here on earth? Absolutely. Jesus told us that trials and persecutions, they await us. Things could get really bad. But we need to understand that everything will be working out according to God's sovereign plan. We can entrust ourselves to him, even if we have to endure in the here and now, trials and sorrows and suffering and persecution. He will make all things right. In the end, we do not need to get concerned. We do not need to be worried. So at the end of the day, it still comes back to what I said. yes, we should pray. It would be good for Christians and for everybody if the most godly leaders that are available are put into office. That would certainly be good for this country. We should pray for that. We should also do what we can in terms of voting. And if you want to get involved in other ways, campaigning, whatever it may be, that's great. That's tremendous. But as we do so, we should not be filled with anxiety or fear or worry. The people that you may look at and you say, boy, those people, they hate God. If they get into office, they're going to come after Christians and they're going to try to overthrow everything that God's doing. Remember, God laughs at those people. It's nothing to him. He's in control. We can trust him, and all things will work out in the end for those who love God and those who are trusting in Jesus for salvation. Okay, guys, I hope this content today was a blessing to you, and I hope that it will help you to have greater peace and trust in the Lord as we navigate our way through this election season. If this content was a blessing and you want to help get videos like it out to more people on the internet, please do take a second now to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless.